So there's kind of a sense out there that I'm getting. There's a lot of people asking, how did we get here and how did it all happen so fast? And what can be done about it? And it's one of those things that's really, we didn't get there fast. In fact, we got there very slow. And we got it through the slow infiltration and takeover of almost all of our institutions in some way or another are actually headed by these globalists, Marxists, whatever definition you want to use. But one of the primary drivers, one of the primary hubs that has made this all possible is the news media. And of course, this isn't a revelatory statement. We all get fake news. We all, at least if you're this deep down the rabbit hole, know just how bad our news is. Now, in Dictatorship to Democracy, The Dissident's Guide to Overthrowing Tyranny, which I've narrated, I'll link to that, or just read it yourself. It's actually a quick read, but you can get these ideas into your head, and one of the ideas is counter-infiltration. You see this with the Oath Keepers taking over police departments. You see this, there's the various groups of patriots that have been making their way up the ranks in the military, and places that have real power, and they're not going to be harming the American public anytime soon, let's put it that way. And you can see how even small amounts of political power are threatening to the establishment because these parents that are protesting school board decisions and taking over school boards are deemed terrorists. But really what makes all these ops possible, the reason these glowies are able to get people to charge into the Capitol and get themselves permanently arrested and have all of their rights taken away is because of the actions of the media. And I would argue the media is too far gone to even bother with an infiltration campaign. It simply needs to be replaced. And I think just emblematic of the whole thing is when Sanjay Gupta went on Joe Rogan and Joe challenged him on their blatant and obvious and provable lie, didn't let him off the hook, and then Sanjay went back on CNN and he wrote an article and they went right back to their lying. And what that showed is they are now a completely irredeemable institution. And so the media in this country simply needs to be replaced. And I see a lot of people, you get kind of online personality wars, or this person's no good, or that person's no good. But I think that's the wrong way to think about it. What the media freaks out about, or really the establishment freaks out about, is view counts. View counts are everything. They have no fear of, say, this channel because the view counts aren't very large. And they don't have fear of any, take a bigger guy like a Mr. Obvious guy. It's just his view counts are not big enough. But once you start getting around 1 million views, that's where they start to freak out, because those are the people that are beginning to be able to replace media. And you can see more and more people are coming to the realization, relatively non-political Americans that just want to be ignored and go about their lives are waking up to the reality of fake media as well. TV news ratings online, readership plunged during Biden's first 100 days. This is by The Hill, talking about, on average, 1.3 million household viewers were watching MSNBC in the last week of January, shortly after Biden took office. For the week ending in April 25th, that number was 868,000. At CNN, those figures went from 1.2 million to 749,000. Fox News is about 1.2 million as well. Network evening news isn't faring any better. Ratings leader World News Tonight at ABC had 1.8 million fewer viewers by April. NBC's nightly news lost 1.7 million viewers, while CBS is down 1.2 million. And so you can see the primetime cable ratings drop. They like to spin this. They like to say, well, with Orange Man gone, or with the COOF not being a big thing, whatever. And that's not actually it. What it is these institutions are being replaced. These institutions, and right now it's not with other institutions, it's generally with very hard-working individuals that build up their street cred by being, at least the majority of the time, speakers of truth, and they get a following that way, and they build up their brand, and then they hire more people, and actually institutions coalesce around them quite often. But generally, right now, we're in kind of the infant stages, and it is the one hardworking, charismatic, likable, truth-speaking individual. And again, don't think, like, let me name some people. Don't think, what do I think about these people? Just realize what these people are doing is they're crossing that line from tens of thousands of views to hundreds of thousands and millions of viewers. You know, the first one I think of is Tim Poole. He just had Sean Spicer on a show, and they're talking about the story where they say he hid in the bushes, and Sean Spicer says there was no bushes to hide in. There's like one bush you have to walk past as you're leaving. And Saturday Night Live did a whole bit of him hiding in the bushes. It's like they could get this lie, and then they can just astroturf it in place and gaslight everyone until you think that that's true. And there was no realistic way to push back if the media didn't like you. Tim Poole gets millions of views. I saw him. Fox News invited him for a segment they did. Fox News invited Tim Poole to come. Take like an entertainment guy, like a Jeremy from The Quartering. Again, not what you think about him, just that he gets a lot of views and he's able to push back against establishment narratives. You have your Sargon of Akkad, who seems to have branched out and started his own media organization. You have like a Dr. Steve Turley. Like, yeah, I get it. He has kind of a put-on personality and kind of an obnoxious fake laugh, but he also has a lot of good information packed into very short, concise videos. You have the Zero Hedge blog, which broke the story that the Wuhan lab is the most likely source of the virus, not bat soup. You know, of course, the obvious Joe Rogan with millions of views, and Russell Brand. Now, I don't particularly care for Russell Brand, but that doesn't matter. Like, that's not the point, and that's not really what you should be focused on. Recently, Russell Brand came out and called Russiagate a Democratic conspiracy, and he was shocked. And how you're just now figuring this out is beyond me. But one of the things the mainstream media laments is that he gets millions of views. What it means is, well, we can't astroturf this fake news story and keep pretending it's true because millions and millions of people, more people will see Russell Brand debunk it than will watch us and believe it. This is the downward spiral. Now, the media may be in terminal decline. I don't know. I sure hope they are. But it's something to watch, and it is something to realize. These guys with these big view counts, they're the wave of the future. They are the new institution rising to replace the rotten institution of the media. Russell Brand also pointed out big tech and media suppressed the Hunter Biden story because they didn't want it to influence the election. Again, just a guy, but a guy that is getting millions of views in the Washington Examiner here probably gets a fraction of what Russell Brand gets. And this is why you see the censorship and the shadow banning, you get it. But it doesn't matter. Like, this is why I would argue support these people, subscribe to these people, even if you don't watch. Help boost their numbers. Share the videos out when they're good. Get more people watching more, at least somewhat true news than fake news. Because it is this media monolithic establishment that got us in 2 forever wars, that got us locked down, that got us, I don't ever want to see that happen again. And I don't think you do either. And it is these charismatic, likable, prolific individuals with massive view counts that are replacing that media column that has made all the misgovernance that we are suffering under today possible.